And welcome to Growth Profits, the show that comes to you every single week, where today we're going to talk about
why 20% of your clients are going to give you 80% of your problems.
And what you need to do about it. Stay with us. Hi folks, I'm Sean Crabtree.
And I'm Cameron Bailey.
We don't want to change the way you do business.
We want to change the way you're thinking about your business.
We want you to have better results, happier clients, and make more money.
Let's get it started.
And welcome back to Growth Profits, the show that is all about you having happier clients, better results, making more money, and enjoying the ride.
Coming to you live. Coming to you live from Winchester, Tennessee.
This is a conversation that Cameron and I run into every single, every single day.
Yeah, man.
Regardless of what your business is, you are in a service industry. And as a service business, you've got that bottom, what'd you call them, the laggards?
The laggards, the slaggards, the sit-behinds.
You get the sit-behinds.
The 20% of the people that you're doing business with that you just ain't enjoying.
And it
is a drudgery. Oh, my God.
80% of the problem.
They're causing you 80% of your problems.
Now, here's the way we hear this communicated to us. Now, what we're going to talk about is what to do about that 20%. And I think you might be surprised at what we would suggest about it. But before we get into that, let's talk about this. And why is this important? Like Cameron said, 20% of the laggards are causing you 80% of your problems. Learning how to deal with this rather than simply booting them, get rid of them.
Right.
Learning how to deal with this is an important concept in terms of one of the things that we talk about here, which is not only happier clients, better results, and making more money. It's about the longevity. It's about you being able to enjoy the ride. And if you got those other three things going on and you're not enjoying the ride, you're going to burn out and you're going to be willing to throw in the towel. This is a very important conversation, and It's all about learning how to enjoy the ride.
Right.
And so 20% of your clientele, we run into this all the time, consistently. 20% of your clientele is causing you 80% of your issues. But now the way that we hear about it is, Cameron, Sean, y'all don't understand. See, where we are in our particular neck of the woods, we got a higher percentage than normal of crazy. If there's 1% crazy in the population, we got 20% right here in this area.
Yeah, this is Detroit, man.
It's Detroit, man.
People are crazy here. You don't understand. You're talking about 20%? Man, it's the other way around. 80% of our clients are crazy.
Yeah.
We only got 20 that we like.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what we hear all the time. We got an inordinately high percentage of crazy that we deal with on a regular basis. But you know what? We found that that's not the case.
No, about 2% is crazy. You take your client base, you take your whole client base, your whole patient base, your whole client base, whatever it is. You say, okay, I'm going to say 2%.
Yeah. Crazy.
They're just crazy. You can't do nothing about it.
You can't
save them.
You cannot fix.
Bless their heart.
You can't. That's right. You can't.
Two things you can't fix: crazy and stupid. Can't fix either one.
Cameron is channeling a little bit of
bless their heart.
Bless their heart. Okay.
Hey, it's Christmas.
It is Christmas. By the way, you guys will notice that we got the barrel tree in the background. This is the world famous Jack Daniels barrel tree.
We're just going to leave this background up all year long.
Man, this barrel tree is made famous. Little known fact here.
You writing this down? This is a big
producer, I bet you didn't know this.
Quotable quotes.
Made world famous by the one and only. What's his name?
Charlie Daniels?
No, not Dean Martin. What's his name?
Well,
Frank Sinatra.
You can't build it up and then
I know I can't
deliver.
Sometimes I forget the punchline.
Build it up and don't deliver.
No,
story of my life.
Made famous by Frank Sinatra. True story. A lot of people don't know this.
I did not know that.
Frank Sinatra was a big time Jack Daniels fan.
Man.
And Jack Daniels was introduced to Frank Sinatra by Jackie Gleason. You don't even know who that is.
No.
Jackie Gleason.
You know who Jackie Gleason is?
I've heard of him. Yeah.
Mr. Producer, you know who Jackie Gleason is? He played the sheriff.
Oh yeah, he was a sheriff in Smokey and the Bandit.
Smokey and the Bandit. So there you go, a little known fact. We'll share that with you.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Well, Jackie Gleason was a big time Jack Daniels fan. He introduced Frank Sinatra to Jack Daniels. Frank Sinatra, as a matter of fact, true story, when he died, they put a bottle of Jack Black.
Oh.
And his family put a bottle of Jack Black in the casket.
A man after my own heart.
There you go.
They're going to start.
We do love some Jack Daniels.
They're going to start paying us for this.
It's never Christmas. It's never Christmas in Tennessee until the lighting of the barrel tree, and that's what it looks like in the sunshine. So there you go.
So 20% of your clients are going to give you 80% of your problems. And it's just across the board.
And it's not crazy.
What business you're in.
Only, like Cameron said, only about 2% are crazy. Not much you can do about that. Just make a decision as to whether or not you want to deal with it. But the other 20% that you're dealing with that are causing you all these problems.
You're laggards.
You know, it's not that they're crazy. What is it? And what do you do about it? If you're driving down the road,
here's the deal.
You're going, hey, I got 20%. What do I do about it?
Why do people behave?
Do I get rid of them?
Why do people behave?
Cameron Bailey, tell me what to do.
Listen, what you do. People don't behave the way they do because they're bad people or because they got bad intent or because of this or that. They behave the way they do because we're allowing it, right? We allow it. Some way, somehow, they see that it's okay to behave a certain way. And the step one of that is if you're going to take this away and you're writing things down, the first takeaway from this segment should be you don't have a systematic vision in your business. You don't have a systematic direction, clear picture.
What is your overall purpose?
Yeah. Why are we here and why are we doing what we're doing? If we're only here to serve our clients, then man, we're going to burn out. We got to have other things that we're serving other than our clients.
Think about what Cameron just said there. So if I'm driving down the road and I'm listening to this and I'm going, okay, people behave the way they do for one reason because we allow it.
Right.
Well, then don't I just need to not allow it?
No. Well, you need to not allow it, but you need to have a reason.
What you need to do instead of that is get a very clear picture, not only of you as the owner of the business, but your entire team. Who is it? How is it? What is it that we intend to be for ourselves, for each other, and for our clientele? And then once you create what that looks like, that becomes your vision. Now you've got the opportunity to consistently, in every strategy, in every step of the process of your dealing with clients, in every possible situation, you've got an opportunity to communicate that vision to them. Here's who it is that we want to be for you. Here's how it is that we intend to be. And in effect, you're creating the boundaries. You're creating the boundaries in terms of what you expect your patients to behave within. Now, here's the problem, though. Like Cameron said, if you don't have that vision, if you don't have any of that, then what you've got is patients that you've allowed to be a certain way again and again and again and again and again and again. Right. And if all of a sudden you pull the rug out from under them and go, I've had enough, get out of here, that's when you're going to have backlash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you've allowed these patients to be a certain way and now you're booting them out.
Because you're smacking them.
Or these clients or these customers, and now you're booting them out. They're going to react.
You've given them cookies, and now you say, look, you can't have any more cookies. They're going to get mad.
Right.
So step one, create that vision, figure out what your purpose of your business is. And it can't be only just to serve our clients. We've got to serve each other on the team. We've got to serve, the direction that we're going. We've got to have a reason for all of us being here, and that's your vision.
And again, create that vision so that every single thing that goes on in your practice, including your clientele, that's the first filter through which you're trying to figure out whether or not they serve. But again, it's not about secretly figuring out whether or not somebody meets the criteria and then you give them the boot, right? It's about communicating consistently about your vision and then openly communicating with your clientele about what it is that you're trying to create with your vision and what it is that your expectations are. And then they will make a decision as to whether or not they either want to be a part of this vision or whether or not they want to remove themselves. You don't have to boot them, Mr. Producer.
Nah. When we come back after this message, we're going to give you 2 more things that you can do right away that are going to allow you to differentiate yourself from the 20% that are dragging you down. Stay with us.
Yes, a 98% acceptance rate or better is possible. Yes, you can do it. And yes, it's not as difficult as you think, and I can show you how. I've created a course specifically to cover these topics. It's called the Dental Profits Academy. New patients, existing patients, dormant patients, exactly what to do, what you're trying to accomplish, and how to do it, and what role everybody on your team plays. Intake calls, chairside, financial arrangements, reinstatement calls. It's all there, step by step. It's online, and you can learn it at your leisure. Go to thecrabtreegroup.com and click course for more information. So what we're talking about?
Yeah,
what we're talking about is 20% of your clientele is giving you 80% of your problems. And here's the thing, if you simply boot them out of your business, then you're not dealing with the actual challenge. And number 2, here's the bigger problem. If you just boot them, you're going to get backlash because, like Cameron said a moment ago, you've been allowing this behavior that doesn't work for some time, and now all of a sudden, if you just command authority and boot them out, they're probably going to give you all kinds of bad reviews and so forth, and it's not where you're trying to go. Instead, a better approach is number 1. This is what we talked about. Get a very clear picture of who it is, how it is, what it is that you intend to be for yourself, for each other, and for your clientele. And once you've got that picture created, now you communicate that at every single opportunity. You set the boundaries in terms of the communication that you're having with your clientele on a regular basis. So you never allow them to do things that you're simply posing the decision with them. This is who we are. Do you want to be a part of this? It's up to you. You make the decision, and you don't have to boot them.
Right. And then step 2 is kind of a similar thing. You've got to create a clear picture, not only of your vision, but now step 2, you got to create a clear picture of who my ideal client is. I can't tell you how many business owners and entrepreneurs and salesmen that I talk to on a regular basis, and I ask them that question. So who is your ideal client? And you know what they do? Because they never thought about it, right? It's not an
Seriously,
easy.
what do they do?
It's not an easy thing, right? It's not an easy thing to sit down, take the time, and figure out who your ideal client is. Because until you know who your ideal client is, there's no way that you're going to be able to go find that person or that company or that patient or whoever that is. Create that picture. Now go find them. Go get in front of them. Go create a presence, right?
And get as specific as possible. I mean, when you're talking about creating the picture of your ideal client, you want to get crazy detailed. Right? We're talking an ideal client. What age are they? What sex? Where do they work? Where do they drive? Where do they recreate? Where do they live? How many kids do they have? What's important to them? What do they look like? Right? Like as detailed as possible that you can get. Now, you're not only turning that into an opportunity for you to go target in your marketing a specific demographic, for lack of a better word, in terms of attracting new clientele. You're also able to, when you lay out the behavior of what your ideal client looks like, you're able to communicate that when you're talking about your vision in terms of setting the boundaries and the expectations with your existing clientele.
Right.
And this is very important. You're not trying to weed out existing clients. What you're trying to do is allow the client to make a decision. Do they want to step up and be a part of this, or do they not? And either way, that works. That serves where it is.
When I have a picture of my ideal client, now I have an actual set of boundaries and a set of expectations that I can deliver to my current client base.
Now, I know what you're thinking. As you're driving down the road and you're listening to this, I know what you're thinking because we've heard it before. When I just said that, when I said, you want to allow your clientele to either step up and be a part of your vision or not. If you're hearing that, you're saying to yourself, man, that's easy for you to say, Sean. It's not like I've got an endless supply of clients, and it's not like I,
got that money tree out back, just printing hundreds. Got them hundos, just printing the hundos off the tree. We'll just go grab us a few.
I understand what you're saying, but remember, It's all about you not only having happier clients, but better results, making more money. And it's also about you enjoying the ride. If you are going to put up with things that don't serve your vision and clients that don't serve your vision, and you're doing that because you're justifying it in terms of a shortage of clientele or a shortage of dollars or whatever, you're headed for burnout, my friend. You are absolutely on the road to the destination of burnout. And that is just the bottom line. Instead, change your belief. You know what? There's always a way. You know what? Clientele and dollars are just like water. I mean, it's a matter of going and getting it. And you got to get that clear in your own mind. You don't have to be at the mercy of a particular client because there are no more. There's 335 million people in the U.S. 360 million.
Bunch of people. All kinds of folks.
There's lots of people. And there's plenty of opportunity for you to go get new clientele. So what we're talking about here is you've got 20% of your clients that are causing you 80%
of the problem.
So what do you do about that bottom 20%? Number one, you create a clear vision for who it is, how it is, what it is that you intend to be. And then at every possible opportunity, you communicate that vision as a way to set the boundaries with your patients. Number two, get a very clear picture in as detailed a way as possible about what your ideal client looks like, how they behave, what they wear, where they drive, where they work, all of those kinds of things. And then incorporate that into part of what your vision is, as well as marketing for targeting new clientele. What's number three?
Man, number three is you're not communicating openly and directly and honestly, right?
You're saying if I got 20%, that's causing me 80% of the problem.
I'm not talking about it.
I'm not communicating openly.
I'm not communicating
I totally
openly.
agree with that.
You know, you got to.
But how do I do that, Cameron Bailey?
Well, you got to have a system.
I'm going to run them off.
You got to have a system.
I'm going to run them off.
No. You got to have a system.
They're going to leave.
You got to communicate openly and honestly.
I don't want anybody to leave.
You got to communicate openly and honestly with them so that they're realizing the boundaries and the expectations that you've laid forth, right? If you're scared to hold a patient accountable for an expectation, then what's going to happen? They're going to run all over you.
Well, that's true, but you know what? And here's the way I would come at that. You know, patients, clients, customers, they're going to follow along with your expectations. The challenge comes in when you've not set those expectations over and over and over and over and over again. The patient is going to react to what you're communicating to them when they see that what you're communicating to them is different from what you've allowed all of this time. So let me say that again. Number three is you got to communicate openly. But here's the thing. You got to communicate openly from the start and consistently throughout. Where you run into a challenge is you're not communicating openly all this time, and now you walk in and go, you know what? This is not going to work. Well, that's when the patient is going to have a fit, because what you're saying at this moment is not at all closely related to what you've allowed to happen over and over and over and over and over and over again. You've given the patient authority. The patient now thinks by your lack of communication that the way they've behaved is perfectly acceptable. And now you're going to, everything you've not communicated communicates that it's perfectly acceptable.
Right.
And now you're going to try to draw a line in the sand. That's not communicating openly. That is removing authority that you've allowed the patient to have all this time, or the client to have, or the customer to have all this time. So if you're thinking, if you're hearing this as you're driving down the road, when Cameron says you've not been communicated openly, that doesn't mean you walk in and all of a sudden lay down the law.
No, you're not going to go in and say, you're going to do this or get out, right? You're not going to say that. There's a
million ways to do it. And probably the best way to do it is, you know what, Mr. Patient, or Mr. Customer, or Mr. Client, you may or may not know that we invest a lot of time and energy in learning ways to serve you better. And one of the things that we've recently done is create a very specific vision about who it is, how it is, what it is that we intend to be for you, for ourselves, and for each other. And it's something that we take very, very seriously. And so here's what basically that says. Here's who we want to be for you. right? And now you're able to begin to have that conversation. And all we ask in return is this and this and this. And so moving forward, this is the way we're going to be looking at things, and this is the way we're going to be looking at it. Does that work for you? And then you have that open dialogue. This is not a pull the rug out from under them, but this is a little bit of a very soft, hey, here's who we want to be. Would you like to be this with us? And if not, that's okay. We want you to be taken care of, and so you need to make this decision as to whether or not this works for you or it doesn't.
But these are the expectations that we expect.
And this is what we intend to be for you.
And this is what that means for you, right? Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's what's going to prevent 20% from giving you 80% of the problem. I mean, if you're looking to cut the bottom 20%, then don't just cut them and go back in and recreate the same scenario all over again.
You're still going to have another 20%.
Still going to have another 20%. At the end of the day, like Cameron started this off, the 20% that you're dealing with is giving you 80% of the problems. They're giving it to you because you've allowed it. And by allowing it, you've said it's okay. It's all right. And if you don't begin to get control of this by the three things we talked about, number one, get a very clear vision. Who it is, how it is, what it is that you intend to be for your clients, for yourselves on the team, and for each other. Number two, use that vision as a set of boundaries for all decision making, including what you expect from your clientele. Number two, paint a very clear picture for what your client looks like, as ridiculously detailed as you possibly can, and then use that to firm up those boundaries of the vision. And then number three,
communicate openly, directly, honestly.
Every single opportunity. Yeah. When you bring a new client into your business, right out of the chute,
onboard them. You got to
start communicating right out of the chute and don't stop.
Yeah, yeah. You got to onboard them with what the expectations are and how that they behave. And if you're gonna be in my house, you got to be this way, brother.
That's right. And that's okay if you don't want to be in my house.
That's okay.
Right?
But if you're going to be in my house, you got to be this way.
That's right. And here's why we're having this conversation. Because at the end of the day, we used to say that everything that we do is about you having happier clients. It's about better results and about making more money. But here's what we learned. If you're not able to enjoy the ride along the way,
right,
then you're not going to be able to have the happiest of clients. And you're not going to have the best results over the long haul. And you're certainly not going to be able to make the most money, because if you burn out quick like a match, then you're kind of done. And we don't want that for you. And that's why we come to you every single week with things like this. Do me a favor. If you like this, share it with somebody that you know in a service business, in a service industry, that can enjoy the kind of things that we put out here. The second thing I would ask you to do is, what's the second thing?
If you have questions, concerns, and interact with Sean or myself, feel free to send us an email. Go to thecrabtreegroup.com. Send us an email and give us a call. We're happy to help. Love to help you.
Mr. Producer, anything else I forgot?
Comment down below.
Oh, Mr. Producer says, if there's anything you'd like to add, please comment down below, because if there's something that you can put in there, somebody else will benefit from it.
Right.
For Cameron Bailey, I'm Sean Crabtree. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you same time, same channel next week, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.